The Philippines accuses China of being the biggest disruptor of peace in Southeast Asia. Escalating tensions over disputed territories in the South China Sea. Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro made these remarks during a conference with the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. Teodoro emphasized China's continuous illegal actions, including its expensive territorial claims and the militarization of artificial islands within the region, which have led to repeated confrontations between Chinese and Philippine vessels. The South China Sea, a crucial global shipping route, has long been a flashpoint for territorial disputes, with China asserting control over most of the sea despite an international tribunal ruling that invalidated its claims. The Philippines, alongside other Southeast Asian nations, has pushed back against China's assertiveness, especially within its exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Recent confrontations between the two countries' coast guards near the contested Spratly Islands have further strained relations. The Philippines is calling for collective regional action to hold China accountable for what it describes as destabilizing actions that threaten the peace and sovereignty of ESEAN members. Tensions between the Philippines and China have been particularly intense in the past year, with confrontations frequently occurring in disputed areas such as the Spratly Islands and Sabina Shoal. These confrontations are often sparked by Chinese Coast Guard and militial vessels attempting to block or intimidate Philippine ships, particularly those involved in resupply missions to Philippine outposts in the South China Sea. In one recent incident, Philippine Coast Guard vessels were forced to abandon a resupply mission due to the presence of Chinese ships at Sabina Shoal, located well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. This follows several similar encounters where Chinese vessels have employed aggressive tactics to enforce Beijing's territorial claims, even though these claims were declared invalid by a 2016 ruling from the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. The Philippine government, under the administration of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has taken a firmer stance against Chinese actions compared to previous administrations. Marcos has emphasized the importance of defending the country's sovereignty and has sought closer military ties with the United States and other regional allies as part of a broader strategy to counterbalance China's influence in the region. The situation remains volatile as the Philippines continues to call for international support in challenging China's actions, which it describes as unlawful and detrimental to regional stability. Defense Secretary Teodora urged ASEAN members and the broader international community to unite in condemning China's behavior, advocating for collective pressure to force Beijing to adhere to international law and respect the sovereignty of its neighbors. The escalating tensions in the South China Sea have placed Southeast Asia at the center of geopolitical struggles, with the Philippines emerging as a vocal critic of China's activities. The country's stance reflects growing frustration with Beijing's persistent disregard for international rulings, particularly the 2016 decision by the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which rejected China's vast claims and under its so-called 9-dash line. Despite the ruling, China continues to enforce its territorial ambitions through military means, constructing artificial islands and deploying Coast Guard and paramilitary vessels to control key areas. The Philippines' call for stronger international intervention underscores the complexity of the regional security landscape. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodora's appeal for collective action aims to galvanize ASEAN and global powers to hold China accountable. However, ASEAN itself has been divided on the issue, with some member states wary of taking a firm stance due to economic ties with China. This division complicates efforts to present a united front. In response to China's provocations, the Philippines has fortified its defense posture, enhancing its military alliance with the United States and seeking closer cooperation with the other allies such as Japan and Australia. This partnership have led to increased joint military exercises and strategic dialogues aimed at deterring further Chinese aggression. China, for its part, has maintained that its actions are lawful and intended to safeguard its territorial integrity. It has accused the Philippines of stirring tensions by increasing its military presence and aligning too closely with external powers, particularly the US. Beijing continues to assert that it seeks peaceful resolutions, but has shown little willingness to compromise on its territorial claims. The situation remains tense, with potential flashpoints continue to emerge. The South China Sea remains heavily militarized, and any miscalculation or further escalation could lead to broader conflict, drawing in external powers like the US that have strategic interest in maintaining freedom of navigation in the area. The Philippines, balancing its defense strategies with diplomacy, continues to navigate these complex waters, insisting on the enforcement of international law to preserve regional stability and protect its national sovereignty.